Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another episode of 365 Days of Gaming. Really appreciate you taking time to check out this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Greatly appreciated, so thank you in advance. Now, of course, we still have more TMNT to cover. That's right. And then they had a fighting game that actually turned out to be really, really good and even has a small but very dedicated fan base to this day. So we're talking about tournament fighters. Now, again, for me, this game is way better than it needs to be. Like, the expectations for this game were not high, but it's a Turtles game, so we were more than likely going to play it, right? There was no reason not to play it. And then you get the game and you realize that there is so much more, underneath the shell, pun intended. So, cast of characters, fantastic. We got Shredder as playable. We got some characters that, frankly, I didn't know anything about before this game. Maybe they're just for this game. I'm not 100% sure, but all of the Turtles are there. They play really well. They have their own set of moves. All their moves kind of fit in together. But the actual combat itself, it is surprisingly very fluid. And although it doesn't have an actual combo counter on here, right, there are actual combos that you can do. There's like this kind of hit stun confirmation that you could do while you're playing. I'm not very good at it. I was never very good at this game, but it was a Turtles game, so I wanted to play it and see what I could do. You even have a super meter, which everybody's super is the same. It's just fierce punch, fierce kick together. But it's a game that, again, we didn't have high expectations for, but then when you actually play it, you're like, oh my goodness. Now I'm playing the SNES version. This is a version that I owned as a kid, and the Sega Genesis version has different characters as well. But it's not a game that I had, so I'm not going to talk about it. But I mean, it's equally fun. I've played it before. Still not better than the SNES version. I don't care what anybody says, just because, it's on the system I like a little bit more. But no shade to the Genesis. Even the speed at which this game plays, if you play it on like Turbo 2, which is what we generally played it on, it is a very fast-paced game where any character, like this is another game where there is no bad character. Like, you could run it with anybody on here. And pretty much have a fair shot of winning. A lot of times, actually, to me, this is a game where sometimes it felt like it's harder to land moves, which is a good and bad thing. Like, people have like dragon punches or like, the Shoryuken style moves, and they're kind of, you have to time it. So for example, somebody does a jump kick, you could do like fierce kick and it'll like roundhouse, and it's kind of an anti-air. But also you have to make sure you aim it correctly and time it correctly, because, like the hitboxes, to me, for a game that was on Super Nintendo, are very precise. Like, there is no, I got near you, so they just gave me credit for the attack. Like, no, you have to land all of these attacks correctly. Like, you can, as you see, the computer is very strong and it's folding me in a lot of these clips. But I was not ashamed of that. It's just like when I was as a kid, trying my best, but it's a very tough game. And I only have it on normal, so it's not like it's on a harder difficulty. The game is just inherently hard. And the computer will, counter and do whatever it does. It cheats a little bit, but that's par for the course. But this was one of the games that, like I said, back then, no expectations for, but it was Turtles, so we had to give it a shot, and we were pleasantly surprised. I was only disappointed that we never really got a true sequel to this game. But as I mentioned, there is a dedicated fan base that keeps this game going to this day in some form or fashion. And if you get time, you should probably look it up. Just look up like TMNT Tournament Fighters. I think it's like a crossover with the DC Justice League game that we talked about previously. So, there's always that little overlap there. But I know a lot of you played this game because you love TMNT like we do. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, favorite character, and why is it Donatello? But actually, although Donatello is fantastic in this game, like I said, there's really no bad character. All the Turtles are great. Shredder's fun, even though he's kind of, he's kind of Ambition-ish, but not 100%, but you can see what they were trying to do with him. But yeah, I mean, fantastic game. Love to hear your thoughts. And as always, appreciating you letting me reminisce with you. Y'all have fun. Y'all be safe. Peace.